like fixing broken things. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I love figuring out how things work and putting them back together so they can be used over and over again. There's just something satisfying about taking something apart, fixing it up and seeing it running like new. So you can imagine my surprise when I heard about a kid who would rather fix things than play video games. His name is Maxim, and he's only 11 years old. But even at that young age, he's already pretty good at what he does. But what happens when a kid who loves fixing things discovers a mysterious glowing compass in his Grandpa E's garage that takes him on wild adventures through time? Let's find out. It was a cold, rainy afternoon and Maxim was bored. He'd already done his homework and played all his favorite video games. He was looking for something fun to do when his grandpa came into his room. "I need your help," he said. "Would you come clean out the garage? It's gotten pretty messy lately." Maxim didn't mind at all. He loved spending time in the garage. Who knows what cool things he might find. As soon as he stepped into the garage, Maxim started looking around for interesting things. There were tools, spare parts, and all sorts of other stuff lying around. It was a perfect place for an 11-year-old boy who liked to fix things. And then he saw it, a strange-looking compass tucked away in a corner. It was made of brass and covered in rust, but somehow it seemed to glow faintly. Maxim picked it up and suddenly it spun wildly in all directions. Then the floor beneath him creaked open and revealed a spiral staircase made of gears and brass. Without thinking twice, Maxim grabbed his flashlight and started going down. At the bottom of the stairs, he found himself in a massive underground workshop filled with flying tools, floating blueprints, and clocks ticking backward. Suddenly, a friendly-looking robot made of gears and springs approached him and introduced himself. "Hello there. Welcome to the workshop of Lost Inventions. I am Clinker, your guide and companion." Maxim was stunned. How could there be a secret workshop underneath his grandpa's house? What kind of inventions were these? Before he could ask any questions, Clinker explained that Maxim had discovered a very special item, the Compass of Lost Inventions. This compass, Clinker said, could take him to lost inventions hidden across different timelines. Each invention had the potential to change the world, but they had been forgotten or lost for one reason or another. And now it was up to Maxim to find them and bring them back. With that, Maxim had become the new keeper of lost ideas. To help him on his mission, Clinker gave him a blue notebook, which contained information about the inventions he would be seeking. The first entry in the book was about a machine that could clean water. It was invented in the year 1891 by a man named Elias Howe. The machine was never finished, and without the proper technology, no one had been able to recreate it since. The entry also mentioned a map leading to the inventor's logbook, which contained the final schematics of the machine. But before Maxim could start his search, Clinker warned him about the dangers that lay ahead. There were others who were also searching for these inventions, a secretive group of collectors known as the Nullifiers. They would stop at nothing to get their hands on these inventions, even if it meant destroying them. Maxim was determined to succeed, so he pressed the compass, and in a whirl of gears and light, he found himself in a bustling city full of steam-powered vehicles and street lamps. The air was filled with the sounds of hammering and the smell of coal smoke. It was the year 1891. Maxim knew he needed to find Elias Howe's logbook before the Nullifier did. The only problem was he had no idea where to start looking. Luckily, Clinker had an idea. There was going to be an inventor's fair in the city center tomorrow, and Elias Howe was planning to unveil his latest invention there. Maybe Maxim could find some clues as to where the logbook was being kept. Maxim spent the night at Clinker's workshop, and the next morning he was up bright and early. He didn't want to waste any time in his search. After thanking Clinker for his hospitality, Maxim set off for the city. He walked along cobblestone streets, past shops selling all sorts of gadgets and gizmos. He even saw a few people riding on mechanical bicycles. Finally, he reached the fairgrounds where the Inventors' Fair was being held. Maxim was amazed by all the inventions on display. There were self-propelling wheelchairs, mechanical dogs, and even a machine that could predict the weather. But he knew he couldn't get distracted. He had to find Elias Howe's logbook. As he walked around the fair, Maxim noticed a group of men watching him intently. They were dressed in dark suits, and their faces were hard to make out from under their wide-brimmed hats. Maxim couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He knew they were the Nullifier, and he wondered what they were planning. Suddenly, one of the Nullifiers made a move towards him. Maxim panicked and started running. He dodged between stalls and over tables, trying to get away, but the Nullifiers were fast, and soon they had him surrounded. "Give it up, kid," one of them said, his voice raspy. "We know you have what we want." Maxim didn't know what they were talking about, but he was sure it had something to do with the compass. He clutched the compass tightly, refusing to let go. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, his voice shaking. Just then, Elias Howe appeared. "What's going on here?" he asked. The Nullifier quickly explained that they were looking for the logbook. "And you seem to know something about it," said another Nullifier. Elias Howe looked at Maxim and then back at the Nullifier. "If you want the logbook, you'll have to find it yourself," he said. With that, Elias Howe turned and walked away. The Nullifier cursed under their breath, but they knew he was right. They were on their own. Maxim took this chance to escape. He ran as fast as he could, dodging people and jumping over obstacles until he reached the edge of the fairgrounds. He looked back to see if the Nullifiers were following him, but they were nowhere to be seen. Taking a deep breath, Maxim continued on, following Elias Howe from a distance. He knew the inventor must be heading to his workshop where the logbook was most likely kept. After walking for a while, they arrived at a large brick building with a sign that read Howe's Inventions. Maxim waited until Elias Howe had disappeared inside before following him. He crept through an open window and found himself in a dimly lit room filled with all sorts of gadgets and gizmos. In the middle of the room was a desk with a leather-bound logbook on it. Maxim's heart raced as he approached the desk. This was it, the logbook containing the final schematics of the water cleaning machine. But suddenly, the door burst open and the Nullifier entered. "So you found it," said one of them, a cruel smile spreading across his face. "It's over, kid." Maxim felt trapped. The Nullifier were closing in on him, their faces twisted with malice. But then he remembered what Elias Howe had said. If they wanted the logbook, they would have to find it themselves. Maybe there was something he could do to make them think he didn't have it. Looking around the workshop, Maxim spotted a pile of gears and other metal objects. With a quick glance at the Nullifiers, Maxim grabbed the pile and flung it at them. The Nullifiers screamed in surprise as the heavy objects crashed into them. Amidst the commotion, Maxim slipped past them and dashed out of the workshop. He didn't stop running until he reached the safety of his own home. Back in the present, Maxim recounted his adventure to Clinker, who was impressed by his bravery and quick thinking. "You saved a piece of the world's brilliance," he said, referring to the water cleaning machine. "Now its plans will be safe and its purpose won't be forgotten." Clinker explained that each invention Maxim recovered would restore balance to the timeline. The more inventions he found, the stronger the compass would become. As for the Nullifier, Clinker said they would continue to seek out lost inventions, but they wouldn't be able to hurt anyone anymore. That's because Maxim accidentally broke one of their most important tools during his escape, and now none of their weapons would work. Together, Maxim and Clinker looked at the compass, knowing more adventures awaited. "Where will you take me next?" Maxim whispered excitedly. The compass hummed faintly, its needle spinning, eager to embark on its next adventure.